Welcome back to the channel, everybody. The banks are very afraid right now. I don't say that lightly. Also, make sure you watch that members only video I put out last night so you can gather a few more facts and you'll understand fully. If you watch the last 2 or 3 members only videos, you're going to understand fully why I'm saying what I'm saying. But also this information right here, folks, number one, they're taking preventative measures that show they're concerned. Number two, these are so overt, not covert, overt, out in the open. Even the mainstream media is talking about it. You can't hide it. Number three, there's a reason why they're going deep with the treasuries. Think about it. Liquidity. They're going deep with liquidity tokens, XRP, bridge currencies, XRP. They need it for a reason. Why? Once again, I referenced that members only video. Go look at that information. Look it up for yourself. Take that information, dissect it. And I suppose there's a problem inside, deep within the banking system. That's why they're rushing towards DLT. These two articles right here. If you're going to call anything a bomb, what's going on in there is a bomb. What's going on in this system that we're about to discuss is why gold is going to skyrocket. That's why they're all making those predictions. It went from $3,000 gold to $4,000 to now they're saying $5,000 gold. And some people will say, well, why? There's a reason why, as a protective asset. Then on top of that, when you look at the bank coins, XRP, Solana, treasuries, infrastructure, they're working really hard on that stuff right now. Are they not? The reason why is because they have the solutions that they literally need. This is not a game. Folks, this is not a game. Now, while you and I are in a comfortable position, because Bankcoin, in my humble opinion, not financial advice, just it's my thoughts. I only speak for me. Now, while Bankcoin holders are positioned brilliantly, gold holders, brilliant, even Bitcoin holders, most of the world is not in that group. Listen to this. Why did they lie? Why did they lie? Look at this. And we know they lied because we've been covering this on this channel the entirety of a year and a half or so. This is what they said. That's not all, right? This article from Yahoo. It's titled Private Credit Banks Quietly Preparing. I'm not saying it. They're saying it now. Yeah, I get a little excited because sometimes I say things and I'm very serious about what I do. And people are just, oh, Mick. Okay, they're saying it now. Now what? You grossly overestimate the solidity of what the banking system built. They're on the most shaky ground ever, and they don't know what they're doing. I mean, no disrespect. I know many brilliant people throughout my life, and I don't see a lot of them at the top of the banking system. I just don't. They don't know what they're doing. They've been riding off the backs of what others built, not what they built, what others built. They don't understand the system they're supposed to run. And so they made a lot of mistakes. That's why they're running towards the new financial system now. You don't get it? They took over the ship, didn't know how to steer it, hit an iceberg. Now they got to jump onto another ship to save themselves. Liquidity, right? Bridge currency. That's interesting. How did they come up with that? It's almost as if you had a bunch of brilliant minds that saw the weakness in the system, knew it was going down at some point, and sought to profit off of their weaknesses. Liquidity, weakness. Bridge currency, weakness. Fragmentation, weakness. Smart contract traceability, because you see all this fraud everywhere. Weakness. And it just happens that XRP, Solana, and the Bankcoin family just solves these problems. That doesn't seem strange to you, like they set that up? Huh? To each his own, maybe not. Listen to this. This is going somewhere. I had to lay all that out. Oh, Mick, get on with it. I had to lay it all out. to get here. Don't rush me. Let me cook. When you're painting a masterpiece or you're making some masterful meal or something like that, it takes time. Now, let me roll my sleeves up. Listen to this. This article once more is titled, Private Credit Banks Quietly Preparing. I might have to do another members only video. I've uncovered even more things. Let me give this one to you, regular subscribers, okay? It says, that's not all. Lenders to corporate America, often big banks generating broadly syndicated loans that are sold on public markets, are getting stricter. Did they have a problem recently with loans? Did they have a problem with banks and the fraudulent generating of loans? I don't know. Was it one bank? No. Was it two banks? No. Was it three? Were they put under investigation to find out if other banks were doing so? And didn't I say I would investigate everything? I would. If you lie about this, you'll lie about that. Where does a liar stop? Well, wait. Let's keep going. So we're exposing they have this problem. I also showed in those videos. Did you see those videos? I put screenshots up. That could cause bank runs. That lack of trust starts from the top and works its way down. The big money will pull their stuff out first because we can't trust them. These banks are involved in fraudulent things. Allegedly, this is what the experts say. The big money pulls their stuff out. All of a sudden, the mainstream media gets a whiff of it. They smell those views, those clicks, that money. Yeah, they smell that ad money. They start covering it. All the regular people hear it. Now you have bank runs. That's what can result. And I'm oversimplifying it. But that's how that works. Let's keep going. So, often, big banks generating broadly syndicated loans that are sold on public markets are getting stricter with their borrowers. Who's that? On a range of legal issues inside private credit deals, Noetica's data indicates. We're getting to the good part. While default rates, default rates and covenant breaches are not currently at unusual levels. Why'd you lie? You did know someone was going to catch you, right? Why'd you lie? You told a lie. I don't like liars. I do not. My father used to tell me, don't say you hate people. So I'm not. I don't like lies. Why'd you lie? You're not lying? So you mean to tell me every expert that we read the entirety of the year that's showing that there's been massive defaults over the last 2 years? Massive increase, and we know why. You mean they were liars? They were telling lies, not you. So not at unusual levels. Let's go here. Wait a minute. Okay, Yahoo, you want to push a certain agenda. All right. To each his own. Get your money. Yeah, I said that. Get your money. Right. What is this here? From a Google search. Based on recent research. This is from professional companies. This is what they do. They have massive research teams. Based on recent research, corporate default rates have generally been elevated. What was that again? Generally been elevated, as we know. Defaults everywhere. Tsunami of defaults. Generally been elevated and trending higher over the last year or two. So why did you lie, Yahoo? What are you trying to hide? I know. But see, regular people respect companies, these big companies, for whatever reason. I don't. But they do. They like you traditional companies, and they're going to listen to you, and they might believe what you just said. It's nothing unusual, and then they're going to get caught unaware. Right. Let's keep going. Why'd you lie? Why are they lying, folks? You tell me. They don't want them to know. See, because if they know the problem, they're going to look for a solution. What's the solution for regular people? Maybe gold to protect their value. Maybe some crypto. So the regular people could profit off the downfall of the system, just like the big timers are trying to do. That's what they're doing. They don't want regular people to profit off of the downfall of the system, knowing that that's how it always is. So what do you mean? Give an example. Okay, here's a very basic example. Remember Blockbuster Video when Blockbuster was competing with Netflix? All right, for a time, Blockbuster attempted to go digital, online. They had online videos. They just couldn't compete with Netflix. Someone purchased Blockbuster as it was closing down. When they purchased Blockbuster, they got the rights to all of those films that in contracts Blockbuster had rights to for a time, of course. Contracts expire at some point. They profited majorly off the downfall of Blockbuster and incorporated those contracts and those ownings into the new platforms that they were building, which there were a myriad of them that came out at that time. They profit off the down. This is always the way it is. They don't want regular people knowing that. This is why you're getting all this misinformation to try to shake people out of XRP, shake them out of Bitcoin irrationally. I even saw stuff where they try to shake people out of gold, even though every major bank is predicting gold to go higher. How is that rational? They're telling people to sell their gold. I saw it with my own two eyes. I said, what? What is this nonsense? I think I mentioned that in a video at the time as well. I was like, well, what is this? And what happened? Gold went higher. Why are they doing? You tell me. You tell me why. Why are they doing that? And if you're doing that, while we're taking this little bit of time, take those powerful hands of yours. Don't let your power go to waste. Only take a second, boom, and hit that like button. That's not asking much. Let's go a little further. So it's been trending, it's been elevated and trending higher over the last year or two, particularly within the leveraged loan market. I told you they're going to have traceability on everything. It's the only way for them to stop the violations of these regulations by these banks. The banks they took the big banks to court last year. A lot of them. I covered it. You can look it up, Google search, little Google search. And they just simply pay a fine. They go right back to violating regulations. Unbelievable. Most people wouldn't believe it. Now, you have to show them and they still will be a little flabbergasted. And they don't want to accept reality, but it's true. Some people at the top somewhere, they don't want that any longer. So they're going to have everything traced. They're going to enforce everything through smart contracts and AI. It's already happening. They're setting up the system. They're setting up the system as we speak. And that's going to be on who's at the forefront of liquidity, bridge currencies, traceability. You have this new system coming together. You see XRP, HBAR, Ripple working with Hedera, Cardano, Chainlink, Solana. You're getting those same names. They're going to work together. Don't be fooled. Solana people said something about Ripple. And XRP, Ripple's people said something about Solana. Are you biting that bait? Really? You're biting the bait on that. Don't bite the bait. You're better than that. That's a game. And it's an easy game to spot out. Same thing they used to do with Cardano. And Cardano, people said something about Ripple. Ripple's people said something about Cardano. Now they're working together. It's a trick. They know the best way to the top is together. They're not each other's enemies. They complement each other. They know that. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. In my humble opinion, I mean, you can do whatever you want. Just my humble opinion. I only speak for myself. So now, they're going to use it to trace all of this and ensure that all of these things are remedied. Every problem here, the new financial system solves. It says, but the overall picture is mixed and depends on how, quote, default, unquote, is defined. Oh, technicalities. Wait a minute. You thought that was it? You thought that was all I had? No. How many of you made it to this second article? Oh, let me drop the real bomb on you. Yeah, let me drop it. You thought that was, oh, Mick, that's all you got? You should know better by now. You should know better. If you see me smile in a thumbnail like I'm going to do tonight, something like that, you know I have something good. It takes a lot to get me excited in this life. I've seen a lot. I've done a lot of things. You see me smile. You know me in real life. I don't walk around smiling everywhere. My smile is valuable. My laughter is valuable because it only happens when something substantial moves me. Listen to this. The Federal Reserve, put my hand up, The Federal Reserve injected $29.4 billion in liquidity on October 31st, 2025. What have we been discussing? Have you seen those members-only videos? Folks, people are not understanding just yet. They're not comprehending what's going on. Why'd they do this? So they injected $29.4 billion in liquidity through overnight repurchase agreements, repos, to address potential stress. Elaborate on that, can you? What do you mean, potential stress? What does that extrapolate into? Right. To address potential stress in the banking system. It's unbelievable. And I'm not holding the people online accountable. In real life, people will tell me there's no problem with the banking system. And I'm showing evidence after evidence after just evidence on top of evidence. I have paperwork. It's just, I guess some people are just contrarians, I suppose. Listen, what more can I say? I don't want to share my frustration, but clearly they're telling everyone this. All right. So to address potential stress in the banking system, particularly as the standing repo facility saw record usage. Really? What does that mean? Interesting. Very interesting. This is coming from the Economic Times. This action was likely a response to liquidity tightening. Liquidity, really? They make it sound so light. They're not in control of the liquidity right now. I know you're like, the Fed controls the liquidity. You sure about that? Did you see, once more, did you see that last member? These last few members only videos been so potent, and you need to see those because I'm coming with another potent one. This is a series. There's so much information I uncovered. We're going deep. I'm not joking, but it's up to you. I mean, I can't tell you what to do. I'm just saying that's over there. And you have to know that to understand what I'm saying here, but I don't have enough time here to explain everything. That makes sense? Liquidity tightening. They're liars. They're lying. They're not in charge of the liquidity tightening because of what the banks are doing. At one time, the Fed was the big dog. At one time, the Fed was respected. I show proof that's not the case anymore because now they have to compete and they can't compete. I told people years ago. People better watch those liquidity pools. Watch XRP, what they're doing with it. Who's starting treasuries? This next year or two is going to tell you a lot. Who's working with Ripple? What is Ripple doing? Why did they do what they did? It's painting an entire story. They're taking advantage of a system that is weak. From the top to the bottom, that system is weak. And I say that because some people still think that the top is, well, they could print as much value as that. No, they can't. No, they can't. They're staring at, what is it called? When on every single side, there's a loss to take. There's no way out. You've buried yourself. Whatever that's called, that's what they're looking at right now. That's what they're dealing with in that system. Unbelievable. Bank coins are going to dominate. There's no way around this. No way. And that's why you got politicians getting on board with the system. You don't notice that? Banks getting on board with the system. You don't notice that? You have countries getting on board with these systems. You don't notice that? All these countries are at each other's throats, apparently. But they all agree. There's two things they agree on. It's very interesting. One, they all agree that DLT is going to dominate and be the neutral layer for everything. You have the agreements coming out of Hong Kong, China. You have the agreements coming out of Japan. You have the agreements coming out of Australia. Everybody's on board. UK, Europe. Everybody's on board with this. Only that, and then the whole Antarctica treaty thing, where he's like, well, we're all agreeing. None of us, taps the resources in Antarctica. That's the only two things they all agree on. I'm just pointing that out, that's rare in a world where there could be countless thousands to millions of agreements between all of these entities because humanity shares one world. But it's not. No, just two things, DLT and that. That shows you how special DLT, how dominant DLT is going to be, the new financial system. There's a reason for that. Sure, is it fun to research and discuss these things? Sure. Can it make for some exciting videos? Yes. But this is serious business because what's happening is what people, when I first started the channel, used to say. Now, there's more evidence than ever backing up this idea that they once had. It's not my idea, but I see where they're coming from now because all the evidence is there. Some people in society, there's already a huge gap. Where is the middle class anymore? Some people are they're going to get pushed down even more. You're seeing it happen. You're witnessing this right now. Look at the economic state of the world. And some people are going to go up. And they used to call that, there was this idea that was floating around about a two-tier system. That's why this is important. One aspect of why it's important. People want to live good. Well, there's a pathway. You have to know what type of forest we're navigating to know which pathway to choose. Know the forest. All right, folks, let me get a little bit of Bitcoin news in here, okay? There was much more, but I have so much I need to put into the next members only video. There's a lot, folks. We're gonna go even deeper. So, a little bit of Bitcoin news today. Here's Michael Saylor's year-end Bitcoin price. I just dropped little breadcrumbs there to lead you to lead your mind to a certain point where now you could when you're doing your own research, you're going to look into these things. You're going to find a lot. That private credit aspect and this liquidity injection. And then once you ask why, where does it lead? Things like that. Oh, my word. You're going to love what you find. In my humble opinion, if you're a researcher, you're going to love what you find. Do with it what you will. From one researcher to another, do with it what you will. All right. Have fun with that. Yeah, I did. All right. So Bitcoin news. Here's Michael Saylor's year-end Bitcoin price target. End this off on a less serious note. I mean, value is always serious, but it's more fun to hear some good stuff. Bitcoin would reach $150,000 by year end, according to strategy chair Michael Saylor. Quote, our expectation right now is end of the year, Bitcoin should be about $150,000. So year end is coming very quickly. I'm not concerned with these timelines, to be quite honest. I just know Bitcoin's bullish based on the catalyst, the positive catalyst. That's all. That's what I know. I don't know when. I just know to watch the actors involved. They start buying a lot. I know the price is going to increase. There starts to be a lot of bullish news. I know the price may increase. That's how I operate. But let's continue. It says here, Saylor told CNBC on Monday on the sidelines of the Money 2020 conference in Las Vegas, he added that he expected the leading digital asset to grind up, quote unquote, grind up to $1 million in the next 4 to 8 years. We shall see. I'm happy. I'm already happy with Bitcoin. Honestly, it reaches 150,000. That was my original number. Since that time, we've learned a lot more. So I do believe it could go much higher than $150,000. However, that's just my opinion. It's not financial advice. All right, just my opinion. I only speak for me. I'm not trying to convince you of anything or anyone of anything. It's not my way, not how I was taught. But $1 million. Look, I'm happy if Bitcoin goes to $200,000, $250,000. All right, I'm okay with that. So grind up to 1 million in the next 4 to 8 years. And then he says eventually $20 million. All right. I'm not going to shoot anything down. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not shooting it down. It's his opinion. All right. I'll leave it at that. And your opinion is your own as well. I'm not going to try to alter that. So now Saylor cited the growing acceptance of Bitcoin and the broader cryptocurrency industry by big banks as a major reason for his bullishness. Yes. I mean, if ever, and I'm not certain that it will, but it's possible, If ever Bitcoin gets the gold treatment from banks, then sky's the limit. Just the way that it is. Sky's the limit. Look at what's happening with gold. Bitcoin has a much more limited supply. Sky's the limit, right? So there is that. It says Wells Fargo and Citigroup would, quote, introduce Bitcoin and digital assets to the next billion people, unquote. He said, he added that he saw their involvement in the space leading to a 10-fold increase in the market size. Another factor Saylor considered to be bullish for Bitcoin is the adoption of so-called artificial intelligence agents by financial institutions. But elaborate, why would that be bullish? He said he told CNBC that these AI agents would need faster rails. Oh, okay, I see where you're going. Oh, thank you. Faster rails than what traditional finance could offer. That comes via. You really want to talk about faster rails? And you're talking XRP, Solana, HBAR. You want to be honest. And Bitcoin has already been proven to rise well across the rails that are set by bank coins like Algorand, right? Remember, I can't remember which Latin American country it was, but they had Bitcoin on Algorand. Was it El Salvador? Maybe it was El Salvador. He said in the digital economy, stablecoins would be the preferred medium of exchange. All right, sir. Okay, if you say so. I'm not saying I agree at all. We'll see. We shall see. And Bitcoin would be the preferred store of value. Come again? Did gold suddenly get wiped out on the planet? I understand you're bullish, but to say things like that, I respectfully have to disagree. Respectfully, vehemently disagree. Did gold disappear? Yeah, physical gold. I love physical gold. I'll say that. And you have digital gold, real digital gold. What? All right, to each his own. To each his own. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.